In this video, I'm going to share what you can do to become a personal branding coach and deliver wonderful and amazing results to your clients. Before I get into how to become a personal branding coach, you might want to check out my other video, What is a Personal Branding Coach, and how to hire one. In this video, we're going to focus on what happens if you want to be a personal branding coach. How can you go about doing that? So I sort of fell into this field. I certainly didn't plan it. It happened by happy accident. What happened was that I built a really bad brand for myself that wasn't working at all, that was totally misaligned with my personality and what I wanted to do. And little by little, I started researching and learning how to build a personal brand. So I had that specialty background that I've ended up being able to put into good use here as a personal branding coach. But back to the story, I didn't know what I was doing. And as I learned, I started just sharing what I learned. And as I was sharing what I learned, people came up to me and asked me, hey, can you help me do this as well? So if that's something that interests you, and perhaps you have a background in either graphic design or coaching or something that gives you some expertise when it comes to the visual expression of someone's brand, then you might be a great personal branding coach. So here are 4 things that I think it takes in order to be a personal branding coach and really help your clients achieve success. First of all, I think it's important to have some sort of background in the visual arts. Or if you don't have a background, get yourself some experience and some training around graphic design. Now, I don't think you have to be a graphic designer, especially in this day and age when there are so many available through Upwork or Fiverr or 99 Designs. You can get a graphic designer anywhere, but it's hard to be able to direct a graphic designer if you don't know what they're doing, if you don't know what to look for. So I think it's really important to have some sort of artistic or aesthetic or visual background to be a great personal branding coach. The second is to learn about branding in general and looking at what makes any brand, whether it's a personal brand or a business brand or a corporate brand, what makes a brand great. There are books, there are videos, there are so many resources out there. I highly recommend doing your homework and becoming a student of branding, understanding the psychology of color. What does red connote for people? What does green connote? Why is blue associated with loyalty? Why is purple associated with premium or regal brands? So understanding the psychology of colors, the use of fonts and typefaces, these are all really important elements for branding. So becoming a student of branding is a great thing to do. Now, this is something I don't necessarily think you need to spend a whole bunch of money going to school. There's so many resources out there. If you're someone who's resourceful, then you can learn a lot about personal branding on your own. The third thing I would recommend considering is your personality built for being a personal branding coach? Now, there are the 2 elements for that, the personal branding piece, but more importantly, the coaching piece. I find a lot of people want to be coaches who aren't necessarily suited to it temperamentally. To be a coach is to be someone who's willing to listen, is to be someone who's willing to speak the truth to people, is to be someone who cares deeply about people and really wants to help and contribute and support them. And also someone who likes to be working with people. Now, that might sound obvious to you, but I can't tell you how many times someone has come across my path wanting to be a coach who really would rather be tinkering with websites or creating tools and spreadsheets and not really loving being on the phone all day long with clients. And that's really what most coaching comes down to, at least in the beginning, is being on the phone and supporting people. The last thing you need to do in order to be a personal branding coach is know how to get clients. And that means how to market yourself and promote yourself, and also how to enroll and sell into your programs. Now, obviously, if you're going to be a personal branding coach, your first client has to be you. You got to brand yourself as a personal branding coach. So how can you do that? Well, one of my favorite ways to do that is to produce something of value that positions you as an expert. So if you're going to be positioning yourself as an expert in personal branding, then what can you produce? Can you make a checklist? Can you make a template? Can you make a guide of some sort? Create videos on YouTube talking about personal branding. So figuring out ways that you can position yourself as a personal brand strategist means you first positioning yourself through using your own brand strategy. I hope this video was helpful for you and got you inspired and energized around becoming a personal branding coach. And if you're curious about ways that you can align what you do with who you really are, then go ahead and check out my Monetize Your Magic Playbook, which you can get below by clicking on the link. See you in the next video.